Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Simply Nerdy. I'm your host, Steven. We're joined today by the full panel. And we are here to talk about our favorite video game soundtracks of all time. We had a comment by...
Complete Producer 84, I believe. That's who it was.
Who requested that we do a video showcasing our favorite video game music. So here we are. So you're welcome. We're going to go over our top five. And thank you for the topic idea. So we're going to give our top five. Each of us will give our top five video game soundtracks of all time. We'll explain why. I will go first. Since I'm hosting, I'll do this pretty quick. My number 5 is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. This soundtrack was absolutely incredible. The game was incredible. In my mind, the greatest Sonic game of all time. And I absolutely love the songs, and they stuck with me throughout my life. And I've listened to them over and over and over. And the fact that Live and Learn played during the newest Sonic movie was absolutely fantastic. So I guess that would be my standout. Except I really love Escape from the City. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I really love punk rock, and this is good stuff.
Checked all the boxes.
Checked all my boxes.
You know an underrated song from that game?
Speak.
Like you already mentioned, like the best one. You already mentioned Live and Learn.
The Chow Garden.
The best one. Such
Really good.
Such good moments from the game. An underrated one that I love is the BioLizard, like supporting me song.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was a cool
good
moment. Like the music went really cool with like the anti-gravity elements of the battle. And
yes.
Lots of fun music from that game.
All right. My number 4 is Beyond Good and Evil. I love this soundtrack. I bought it. The 20th anniversary is the best version because it's fully orchestrated and it is beautiful. That game not only was one of my favorite Ubisoft games of all time, but the soundtrack truly enhanced it. And I think that's really what this music thing is all about. The music enhances the game experience. And without it, it wouldn't be as impactful. It truly makes a game more immersive. And in Beyond Good and Evil, the scores are beautiful. It matches the scenery perfectly. And then when there's conflict in the game, it does a spectacular job of putting just an uncomfortable twist in that beautiful music that makes it eerie. And I love it.
You didn't say a specific song from Beyond Good and Evil that you would recommend. I love the propaganda song. That's the one
I love that song too. Propaganda. It's called Home Sweet Home. Okay, number 3, we've got Hogwarts Legacy, because talking about immersion, that soundtrack, and I'm not just saying this because I know I have a personal connection that did the cello work for it, but I'm saying it because it's totally honest. The soundtrack for that game could be in any Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
They did a fantastic job of staying true to what John Williams wrote and added to it in beautiful ways. And in my mind, it just blends right in with John Williams. I don't know how they did it. It is absolutely incredible. And it's fully orchestrated, and it's gorgeous. If I have to give you a song from that one, it would totally be the first track on their album called Overture to the Unwritten from Hogwarts Legacy. Going on, we've got my number 2, Astrobot.
I was wondering if you were going to use Astrobot. Yeah.
That soundtrack for Astrobot. Oh man, the songs get stuck in my head so easy, and it gets stuck in my kids' head, and I watch my kids kind of react to it, and they are singing along with the words, and I'm singing along with the words, and we sing the middle melodies all the time, and it's fun. It is so fun, and they're all catchy. They're all adorable. It has a spooky song that reminds me a lot of, like, if Luigi's Mansion and Overcooked had a baby, it would sound like this. It's a fun, spooky song. The song that there's 2 from this one, but I got to pick one. I Am Astrobot, obviously, I Am Astrobot, beep, 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 beep. Famous. We're not going to use that one. Astro is the one I will use because it is the most catchy song on here. And it gets stuck in your head very easy after like 30 seconds. You'll start singing the whole thing. All right. Now my number one, this is the one where I kind of combine, and you'll see why. This is Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom, because it's kind of the same soundtrack.
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom uses some of the Breath of the Wild soundtrack, but also builds on top of it. So it's like, I don't know how to differentiate between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, therefore, we're just going to put them together. But those soundtracks, and like I said, those games are like my favorite Zelda games of all time now. Absolutely love both of them. They are by far my favorite 3D Zeldas of all time. Anthony said it best, so I'm giving all the credit for this statement to Anthony, but he said it, and now I can't unhear it anymore. The soundtrack for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are so good that they enhanced my real world. If you listen to Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, he probably said it way better than I just did. But if you listen to Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom outside of the game and listen to it when you're hiking or in the outdoors, dude, it's still a banger and beautiful, and it totally makes your world enhanced as well. Anthony, maybe you can say that more delicately.
I mean, I'll just put it this way. I grew up with, all of us boys in the family love to go hiking. And whenever we saw a particularly beautiful vista, we'd imagine like the Lord of the Rings soundtrack coming on. Dun, 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 we'd, run to that, and it was, just kind of fun. Well, then Breath of the Wild came along, and my song, my mental song switched to the Hyrule Field theme. Yes, or whatever. I mean, I can't sing it, but every time I'm in, out in nature, that song kind of plays in my head.
That is my top 5.
Okay, wait, Steve, do you have one song from Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom to recommend?
Oh my gosh, all of it. I don't. My absolute favorite one is Terrytown.
Oh, that is a good song.
That's a good one. I use it a lot in our videos. Sorry. It's because it's my favorite one.
Yeah.
So you hear Terrytown a lot. It's my fault. Sorry.
All right. Well, I'll jump in. I think number 5 would probably be the Kingdom Hearts soundtracks, like the series in general. If I were to pick one game that I think has my most favorite tracks, the most standout, it would probably be Kingdom Hearts 3D or Dream Drop Distance. There's Sacred Distance, I think is the name of one of my favorite songs.
I said, yeah, that's the one. Also, Traverse and Trance is amazing.
Oh, yes, and Traverse and Trance.
I know that the original Traverse Town is super popular, but this one blows it out of the water. Come at me.
Yep. No, I agree. And then basically anything written by Yoko Shimomura is, a really personal favorite. But if I have to pick a particular set of her works, it probably would be something from Kingdom Hearts. Number 4, I think, would probably have to be Ori and the Blind Forest, and I might kind of have to also mix that in with Will o' the Wisps. I've listened to Blind Forest a lot more. Of course, it's been out longer, but those songs just are very evocative and and very beautiful and haunting. I think probably one of my favorites is a song called Naru Embracing the Light. What?
Sorry, can I jump in and say my favorite Ori song?
Go for it.
An underrated one, in my opinion, the Lost in the Misty Woods. It's the song that plays when you're in the forest, and it keeps it's really spooky, and it's like a maze-like place, and it keeps changing as you're exploring.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the music, like you said, was very evocative and fit what was happening perfectly. I've never forgotten that. So one of those times where the music actively made the game better.
Number 3 would probably have to be Octopath Traveler. The composer for that one, Yasunori Nishiki, from what I know, he's relatively new on the scene. I don't know any of his works prior to Octopath Traveler, but he blew my mind. Even before I played the game, I remember listening to the soundtrack while I was on a road trip, and every song was just like magic. and it was each one managed to create a really good sense of place for each of the locations or the events that it was going to, and fantastic, absolutely fantastic soundtrack. And I'll just also give a quick shout out to a YouTuber who felt, it seems like similarly to me, if you've ever heard of Family Jewels, he's a guitarist who's really awesome. He did an entire cover of the entire discography, if you could call it that, for a video game, of Octopath Traveler. It's all incredible music. So
wow, it's called his album's called like the Eightfold Blade, right, or something like that. Eightfold Blade.
There's a lot of really good songs in there. I can make a lot of recommendations, but I'll just settle on those who govern reason. Those who govern reason. That song is so flippin' good. Cool. So then my number 2 is Kid Icarus Uprising. So the orchestration is something that they just really did an incredible job on. I feel like all of the songs, there's a lot of energy, a lot of I don't know how to put it. They're really fun songs to listen to. But I think the things that make this soundtrack really stand out for me, each level, each chapter, if you will, takes place in 2 segments. There's a segment that's on rails where you're flying, and so it's basically scripted, and you just have to fight enemies along the way. And then there's a portion where you're on the ground and you're kind of exploring, in third person, pretty standard. So the on-rails portions, because they're scripted, allowed for non-looping orchestrations that actually go to specific moments in that scripted pathway. And so it allowed for some really fantastic musical storytelling. There are some moments that, combined with probably some of the best voice acting I've ever heard in any production ever, made for some of the most enjoyable gaming experience I've ever had. There's some moments where like the music swells at just the right moment, just as something is happening in that that flight sequence, and then they make some comments, and sometimes it's really good comic relief, and other times it's just genuinely awe-inspiring. And I love how they took an aspect of the game design that technically in and of itself could be considered some of its some of its more simplistic elements, and turned it into an opportunity to make the music shine like crazy. So
sick.
Incredible soundtrack. Shoot, if I have to pick one. All right, well, I guess I'll just have to throw one out. I think one of the ones that I remember standing out a lot was Heads of the Hue Drop. And Reaper's Line of Sight. I don't know. There's too many I can say.
Yeah, Reaper's Line of Sight is really good.
All right. So then moving on to my number 1, and this is
wait. I wanted to mention the composers for that one. It's apparently a team of composers consisting of Motoi Sakuraba, Yuzo Koshiro, and Yasunori Mitsuda, as well as a few others, but those are like the big names, I guess.
Great.
So, yeah.
Motoi Sakuraba, I feel like he's a big name too, but I can't.
Oh yeah, he's done a lot of like Mario games, not like main Mario games because that was Koji Kondo, but he's done like Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, I think. Mario, I don't know. He did Golden Sun.
That's why. Oh, that's what it is.
Star Ocean. He's done the Tales of series. So he's a big name. So
history behind him.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, so then let me jump into my number 1. This one was a little bit more of a cheat. Anyway, I'll just jump into it. So my number 1 collection is the Xenoblade trilogy. So Xenoblade 1 through 3, and I've done a lot of videos in the past about just going on about my my love for these series. But I think I'll just say in this context that the music is a major part of the reason for that. I think that the musical storytelling is one of its strongest points throughout the series. And I feel like that's in none of the games is that more true than in Xenoblade 3. There's a couple songs in particular where I listen to the song just so that I can feel the feels all over again, and just it's incredible. So, and it's done again by a collection of composers. The top one for me, the one that tends to make my favorite songs, is Yasunori Mitsuda. He's my number one composer. But yeah, no, those soundtracks are they can't be topped. I bought the whole the Trinity box soundtrack collection when it came out, and I listened to it all the time, sometimes daily, because I never get tired of it. So that is easily my number one series songs ever. If I had to pick one of the three, I would say that my number one is Xenoblade 3. And if you're wondering about the order, in order from top to bottom, it would be 3, 1, and 2. But yep, all of them are incredible. And I'll just make one recommendation.
That to which the defeated cling.
That is a good one. But I am going to go with our stupid, easy name, A Formidable Enemy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's a great one.
Good one.
That song did not have any right going as hard as it did for the context that it's played in, but oh my heavens, fantastic. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, I'm done.
Xenoblade would have been on my list, but I knew it belonged to Anthony. So.
Same for me. Honestly, it's that good. Like, it would have been my number 2 spot. So
should I go ahead with my list then?
Yeah, go for it.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
hear it.
Go for it.
My number 5. So my list is interesting because there's so many games I love and so much music I love that's not going to be represented in my list. There are songs from various games that I probably love more than any individual song in my list.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to like the sheer amount of like the total amount of songs I love from a soundtrack, these are the ones that are probably going to be at the top. So my number 5 is going to be Hollow Knight. I love the style of music in that game, like this. It's like classical, but classical pop kind of feel to me in some of the songs to me. That there's so many good ambient ones too. But if I could choose one to recommend, probably False Night. I love that battle theme.
That was a surprisingly good one, from what I remember.
Yeah, and it was a fairly minor boss early on in the game, but I love that song. And I was going to seek out one song to listen to, and that would probably be it. So, but Hollow Knight in general, like there's Green Path, that's a beautiful song. City of Tears, there's a lot of great ones. My number 4 is Owlboy. The music in this humble game is so incredible. It is very evocative. It's the kind of music where you can listen to it and you feel like you're hearing a story. It's one I felt like I need to get Lisa's permission because I know it's special for her too. Like, is it okay that this is my list of sugar?
Well, mostly it was like, does David remember to whom he owes his understanding of how good it is?
I do remember it. Lisa's the reason I played this game, and it was and the music is one of the best things about it. There's so many moments where it matches what's happening so perfectly. It's kind of like what Anthony was describing with Kid Icarus, where the music is just made for what is happening. And I feel like there's some moments that I can't recommend because it would spoil it. You need to experience it. If I was going to choose one song to recommend, it would probably be...
Were you trying to not give spoilers?
I sort of was, but you're welcome to...
Well, this is going to be super vague. This is going to be super, super vague. But I like the one about the owls. The one about the history of the owls. That one's really cool to me.
Lisa, that's the one. That's the one I wanted to say. That one, there's lots of moments. I think there's more than one moment where it's used, but there was a particular spot where you discover some lore, and it plays this history of the owls, and my hair was standing on end. With how the music went with it and what they revealed, I was like, this game shouldn't be like blowing my mind this much.
Well, I was just gonna say it tells the story so well. Like, it has parts where it sounds like, oh, there's a lot of technological amazing stuff happening, and then there's other parts that are just like chilling.
I agree. Very, very chilling. Like, it brings all the emotions. It's an amazing game, and it's elevated so much by the music. My number 3 is probably Sayonara Wild Hearts. This is a game that also goes kind of with that was describing of Kid Icarus. It's a game that's hard to explain. It's like a pop album rhythm game, but it's not like a Guitar Hero where you're just looking at a fretboard with notes coming down. Like it's like an arcade style thing where you're a character driving vehicles and motorcycles and you're shooting lasers, and it's pretty fun. And but it's all kind of on rails, and it's all matched up to music. The soundtrack is amazing on its own, but I think I'm a sucker for games that synchronize music with gameplay. If I had to choose one song, though, it would probably be Dead of Night. Which is a level that's sort of like a boss battle. I can't say much more about it. You just have to play it and experience it. It's really good.
Sick.
My number 2 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
Of course it is. It's so good.
It is. This is a soundtrack where I don't need the game. I can just listen to it and appreciate it. It's like a beautiful blend of retro video game music, but with modern elements. Like there's actual guitars and real drums and stuff. It's not just chiptune, but like it perfectly honors the past video game music of Ninja Turtles and then modernizes it at the same time. And it's so much fun.
And it's got those 2, I think there's only 2 tracks, but they also have tracks with lyrics in them that are awesome.
Yeah. So
I love those 2 songs.
Yeah, and if I was going to recommend one song like out of the context of the game, it would be one of those, probably Panic in the Sky.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah,
that's what I'd recommend too.
And I love a lot of the non-vocal music, just like the level themes and stuff, but that's the one I'd say, like, if you were going to choose one just out of context, it would be the Panic in the Sky. So, and now my number one game soundtrack is Paper Mario: The Origami King.
Nice,
solid.
No spoilers, please. No spoilers.
Okay.
All the spoilers.
I'm planning to play that.
Yep, same.
Well, you can say the names of the songs. Just don't be like, what place when you beat this guy?
Yeah. So, in my opinion, this game is very underrated. It does have flaws, right? We've talked about this on the channel, but one of those flaws is not the music. It is just amazing. They went so over the top. You wouldn't guess that's, some of these like almost heavy metal songs are from a Mario game.
Yes.
But the boss themes are all incredible, and these are songs that actively, like, I'm playing through the game and the music's here. It just is the reason I love the game. Like, what I'm hearing in the background is just elevating everything. Autumn Battle, that's an excellent one.
That one.
Autumn Mountain. Yes, sorry.
That song
That was my favorite.
Oh, dope.
I'm sorry. That's probably my favorite. But what's your favorite, David?
I'm going to have to possibly recommend more than one. Autumn Mountain is obviously a good choice that we agree on. Shifty Sticker is a good one.
I love these
that was
names.
one of Ashton's.
Right?
My probably personal favorite, just because of how it blew my mind when I was in this part of the game, was Origami Castle. The location you're at and what's happening in the background and the music that goes with it is just something that I don't forget.
Sorry, I was just going to jump in real quick and say, if not for the fact that the Xenoblade franchise is technically owned by Nintendo, well, not just technically, it is owned by Nintendo now. If not for that, I would say that the Paper Mario: The Origami King probably has my next most favorite soundtrack from any Nintendo game. It's shocking how hard they went, and I have to second some of David's. So my personal favorites were Disco Devil. That song just grooves the heck out of me. The Shifty Sticker, which I could not believe how hard they went for that song. And then again, Origami Castle. Basically lined up with David there.
And there's other good ones, but if you're just going to choose some highlights. I mean, not other good ones. I'd have a hard time choosing a song I didn't like from the game. That's where I'm at.
Yes. Well, I'm definitely going to have to add this game to my backlog. If not, then at least the soundtrack to listen through.
Yes. All right, Austin, I think we're to you, man.
Oh man, my turn. My turn.
Your
So-
turn.
This was really hard for me because I feel like a lot of the games that I chose were due to nostalgia and not necessarily because they were the most technical or, there was a lot of great storytelling, musical storytelling. But my number 5, it was hard to narrow it down. I feel like most of these are like honorable mentions because I was going to pick Sonic 2, which Steve said.
Wait, Sonic 2 or Sonic Adventure 2?
Sorry, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Okay.
That's what I meant. And
Sorry, Austin.
no, you're good. You're good. I'm glad you did because it let me mention some of these other ones. I really love the Elder Scrolls soundtrack. Jeremy Soule just does an amazing job with his music. But I also was debating. I was like, do I pick that? Do I pick Mario? Because I love some of the old school Mario songs from like Super Mario 3. On NES. Super Mario World has some classic songs. I even really enjoy Sims. I think I'm gonna say Sims. I know this comes as a shocker to a lot of people because The Sims, like the music on The Sims, for me, that is what got me so interested in classical music and piano playing in general. I just remember I have some fond memories of, building houses in the game, but also listening to this peaceful, serene piano music and orchestral music. It wasn't even piano, is all sorts of symphonic music. And I loved it to the point where I would find the music and I would play it when I went to sleep at night. And it was so good. So kind of a different one compared to some of the other games that I'm choosing here. But Civ, I feel like, is another honorable mention. Christopher Tin's music for the Civ games. I just want to throw that out there. I'm not choosing that for any of my specifics. But for the Sims soundtrack, I would have to say, I think it's called Neighborhood Build Mode 1, New Beginnings. That one's really good. Anyway, I'll jump into my next one, which is my number 4 is Chrono Trigger. This is a game that I recently played for the Hailstorm channel and instantly fell in love with this music. Like, just, you could already tell there are some timeless melodies on here. You see what I did there?
I did.
I did.
I am of the opinion that I've heard a lot of his work, but Yasunori Mitsuda, whatever he touches is gold. Like, he's fantastic. Some of his compositions, like the Corridors of Time, they're just instantly recognizable. Man, how do you describe it? It's just, even though it was like SNES era chiptune music, it didn't take away from the enjoyment factor, and the tracks, feel endlessly listenable because even as you're playing through the game, it loops perfectly, and I don't get tired of it. That was something that I appreciated about it, but I would have to say my number 1 recommendation would be Frog's theme. I really enjoy Frog's theme in that game.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
Also, just a quick shout out if you want to hear a really incredible orchestration of Chrono Trigger, check out Sam Dillard's Chrono Cinematica.
Yes.
That thing is incredible.
I agree.
Super good.
Way awesome. Yeah. All right. So my number 3 is Halo, but I didn't pick a specific game because I feel like a lot of the themes are shared between the games. So that was one of the ones where it's like kind of a series. But I just love Martin O'Donnell's, just his compositions in general. He does so well. The use of the Gregorian chant in the opening theme, I think, was something that really captivated me when I first played Halo. That was around the time that I was getting into music theory. And I was just like, oh, this is really cool. Who would have thought this would be in a video game, right? But just the whole orchestral grandeur, and everything from the intense moments where you're in space to the fighting melodies. The music when you're in combat is just outstanding. I had to pick that one again. It's more of a nostalgic feel, as most of these are going to be. The one I'd have to recommend though is more one of his more relaxing, one of his chill songs called Unforgotten. Beautiful piano piece that plays when you're in the lobby. Now, my number 2, I was going to, like, as I mentioned earlier, I was going to pick Xenoblade 3, so take that for what it's worth. But I'm going to have to say Final Fantasy 7. There are so many good themes with the storytelling that's going on. Everything from the oppressive feel in Midgar to the like heart-wrenching moments. I don't want to spoil anything for this game, but there are some themes that just hit you like a train. One of my personal favorites would be One Winged Angel, Sephiroth's theme. So I would have to recommend that one for that game. And then my number 1 is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Pure nostalgic. I mean, it's not just because of the nostalgia. I feel like Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time was the foundation for a lot of Zelda music in general. So that was another one where I was like, it was really hard because I was like, I really like Skyward Sword. I really love some songs in Wind Waker, like the Dragon Roost theme, Dragon Roost Island, and the Outset Island. Anyway, I had to go with Ocarina of Time because the musical storytelling in that was just fantastic, where it really takes you on this journey and kind of puts you in this fantasy world. And Koji Kondo's work with that was phenomenal. Everything from Zelda's Lullaby, which is the theme you hear throughout many Zelda games. Yep. Yeah, even the goddess song in Skyward Sword is based on Zelda's Lullaby, in reverse actually. But there's just so much good music with variety too. Like you have the Gerudo Valley, which is very, I don't even remember the style, but yeah, to the Bolero of Fire, and just so much classic music in there.
That's one thing I miss from Ocarina of Time was like the whole game was themed around music, right? You have the ocarina, you're learning these songs, and that hasn't really come back as much in future Zelda games. So
and I think that's what really turned me on to it as well, is the fact that, so I'm like, because I'm such a music nerd, I loved the fact that it relied on playing music and playing with different instruments for some of your games, like Majora's Mask, and how that implemented, guitar playing and drums and horns and everything. I thought that was so cool.
You have one song to recommend?
Luck.
Yeah, I know. This, I honestly would have to say Bolero of Fire. It's short and it's sweet, but it's one of my personal favorites. Gerudo Valley is also amazing.
Yes. Amazing covers for that song too that are all over the internet. So good.
Yeah, actually, can I do a little shout out for
yes,
because I'm so huge into prog and progressive rock and progressive metal. There's a really amazing a couple individuals who did it's like a 30-minute epic in the style of Haken and Dream Theater and Pink Floyd. And he does Ocarina of Time as if it were a prog epic. And I'll have to put a link. It's Dr. Pez and Mark Papagen. Yeah, Papagen.
I like Dr. Pez.
Dr. Pez does some awesome stuff, awesome arrangements. So go check it out. I listened to it and I was like, I have to support him. So I sent a little donation to his Patreon and was like, I need this music. I need more of this. Yes. I need it for all the games.
It is now Lisa's turn.
Oh, yes, last but not least, we need Lisa.
So I have my list. that I made on the fly, and I'm gonna have to do some.
Did you get it to sit still?
No. All right. So, I guess some honorable mentions that didn't quite make it onto the podium. There's a game that I've never played, but I find the music so fun. Is Tetrobot and Co. That's a game nobody's heard of, but it's just like a little puzzle game, and it has a fun soundtrack. Another game that they did that also has really fun music that I also haven't played is called Blocks That Matter, and it's just really fun songs. Anyway, they're kind of hard to find, in fact, but I'm pretty sure that they're on YouTube somewhere. Gosh, this is rough. Another honorable mention is Undertale, because I love Undertale, but I also feel like it's a known quantity, like people should know by now that it has really fun songs, so I'm not going to get into that one as much. Also, Celeste is that same thing.
I'm glad you mentioned
Everybody-
that. I was like, somebody needs
Yes.
to mention Celeste.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody needs to already know that Celeste is amazing. So the ones I'm going to keep going with are ones that I feel like don't maybe get enough love. Although maybe the first one on this list that is going to be my number 5 does get enough love. I don't know. I just don't hear about it as much. So first one, did somebody say Kirby's Epic Yarn?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Kirby's Epic Yarn is so good. They had no business making the music that good, and they did, and it just has so many fun songs. Let's see. As far as one that I really, really like, Butter Building for some reason is what I'm thinking of right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, an Ice Cream Island or something. There's just so many good ones.
I gotta jump in and so first of all, I have to say, Kirby's Epic Yarn probably has the coziest soundtrack on the planet. You can listen to it and just feel like you're enveloped in a warm blanket at Christmas time in front of a nice warm fire, drinking hot cocoa. Like it's just anyway. My personal recommendation is Frosty Wheel. That's probably the coziest song I've ever heard.
So what I love about that soundtrack is it's cozy, but it's still catchy.
Yes.
Like it's not just like I'm a cozy song and for you to just like forget is in the background or something.
Yeah, no,
it's like it's still catchy.
It's not like lo-fi stuff. Like it's just
Hey!
well, I mean,
why are Wi-Fi scratching a screen here?
I forgot who I was talking to.
Oh my god. Okay, let's see. My next one I wrote down. Okay, so this one is kind of one that I never hear anybody talking about, but it's an album that for like the space of 6 months, my brain was like anytime I was like, oh, what should we listen to, brain? My brain was like, this. Over and over. And it's Minecraft Volume Beta.
Oh man.
I don't know if any of you know which songs are on the Minecraft Volume Beta album, but I think I love them. The Minecraft Volume Beta is still by C413. I don't know. What is the person?
C418.
Thank you. There we go. I was close. Not 13, 14. Okay. So that the original 2 albums, I think, were made by him, and then Lena Rain made the ones after that. So Big Step is one of the ones that Lena Rain made. I think some of my favorites on there. Aria Math. I think everybody knows about Aria Math. Maybe they don't know that it's on this album, but Aria Math is so good. And then also like there's one called Drayton that's really good. Concrete Halls, Dead Voxel. There's just so many good ones. Anyway, so yeah, I recommend people check it out because I really like the one. Okay, next one that I feel like nobody knows about, but I'm not surprised that nobody knows about it, but it has some shockingly fun songs. It's Super Lucky's Tale. It is a game about a little fox, and there's not much to say about it besides that it's one of the many kind of Mario-esque platforming well, 3D Mario-esque platforming clones. But and songs are a lot of fun. Well, I'll just say the song names that I can remember right now. So I think there's one that's like Spooky Train. It's so good. I love Spooky Train. There's one called Aqueducts that I really, really like. There's one that's like the Eightfold Path or something. Maybe Operation Pointier Thing. I don't know. There's just a bunch of there's a bunch of really, really fun songs. It's really cute. Number 2 is various Daren Korb songs for games. Various songs where the game music is composed by Daren Korb.
So basically,
Oh,
anything
good.
super giant.
Yeah. I will admit that I haven't played Hades yet, and so I don't really have a connection to that music as much, except for like the few songs that are like vocal. Those ones I love. So Hades is not one of the ones where I'm like, oh, this specific niche song I really like. I like the ones that everyone knows are amazing. Because he and Ashley Barrett, Daren Korb and Ashley Barrett, they sing like whenever they sing together, it's gorgeous. So the songs in Hades where they sing together, I know are great. The other ones I haven't super connected to, but I will say that Transistor, so many good songs. Love the Transistor soundtrack, and I have to say, I actually got into the game through the music because I found the music in some playlist, and I was like, "Oh, I like this song. I wonder if I like any of the other songs that are in this game." And I did. I liked most of them, so I decided to try out the game, and it was awesome. So Transistor. I haven't played Pyre, but I love a bunch of the songs from that game. I plan to play Bastion, and I have not yet listened to the soundtrack because I've been worried about spoilers. Daren Korb is just amazing composer, amazing voice. He does a great job. So I guess some of my favorites are probably Paper Boats from Transistor.
Seconds march into the past. The moments pass.
Yes, that is probably
Yeah.
my number 1 song from him.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, and my wife and I will do it as a duet all the time.
Aw, that's cute.
That's awesome.
So Paper Boats. I like Good Riddance from Hades. It's really, really good. And then from Pyre, I know that there's a song that they sing together in Pyre. I can't remember the name right now, but just go find the song in Pyre where they sing together, and I probably like that one. So my number 1, I don't know if it will be surprising to anyone because I've evangelized it for a while. Can anybody guess?
I said I have a guess, and I'll actually be surprised if it's not on your list.
Okay,
Is it Genshin Impact?
we got it.
Here we go.
Hold on. Okay, so I have to admit that I'm always like slightly embarrassed to admit that I play Genshin Impact because I can never recommend a gacha game to anyone because it's a hole that you can sink into. But the music in Genshin Impact is so delicious. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just it's quality. There's so many good songs. I have to admit that Yupeng Chen, I think, was the main composer for a lot of the songs that I really, really love, and I'm trying to tell myself recently, these songs are good, give him a chance, Lisa, even though he went on to different projects, the songs are still good, but oh man, I don't even know how to say how good they are. They're just so good. I guess one thing that I love that they tend to do when they release a new area is that they'll have like, oh, we're gonna have like a symphony and we'll like record it, us playing the songs, or they'll just release videos of like, oh, this is the recording of this region. I guess one of the things that I respect most, any game that does this, but Genshin Impact, is the fact that seems like they're giving jobs to classical musicians, which it's got to be really rough for a lot of classical musicians to find like good paying jobs. I don't know that they pay well. I hope they do. But I'm glad that they are employing musicians. And I always love hearing the amazing songs and so basically every time that I do a stupid thing like spend money to try and get a character I like, I'm like, I'm paying those musicians to play those beautiful songs.
I like it.
I'll try and say a few that I like, but there's so many I freaking like. Well, one of the ones that I love a lot, but makes me sad, of Riddles and Wonders. So that one's an awesome one. And I really like Felicissimo Finale Termini. I don't know. It's like the first boss song. It's super good. From Whence the Flow Cometh. I like there's like a bunch of songs that are for a certain boss, and I don't know how to say the names for it either, but I'll just say it's like the Scaramouche battle themes are just super good, and the fact that Yukong actually sang this, he sang the solo, and it's so good. I need to stop just going off. I need to stop my rant here. But oh my gosh, it's so good.
So I've only played a very little bit of Genshin, but Lisa's shared songs with me, and I've listened to the soundtracks separately just because it is good music. And one unique one that I love a lot, it's probably my favorite that I've heard, is I have to look up. It's called Wrath of Monoceros Kali or something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm probably pronouncing it very wrong, but it's like got this electrified Urhu or something at one point. I love how it sounds.
That's
Anyway,
a good one.
it is a cool song. I think there's a very dedicated fan base for Genshin Impact that will very much appreciate Lisa's passion for it too.
So there you have it, guys. We had music across all kinds of different genres. We had music from The Sims. We had from indies. We had from behemoths like the Legend of Zelda series, the Xenoblade series, Mario series, all over the place. And music truly does make a game more immersive and truly enhances the storytelling. And we hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you did, please subscribe, like, and ring the notification bell so you are notified whenever we have another nerdy discussion like this one, because there's so much more to get into, not only with games, but with other mediums as well. Like music truly is, I don't even know how do you explain, without music, life would be flat.
Oh, hey.
Nice,
I can't take credit for that one because it's a pillow we have on our sofa.
Oh my god.
That was pretty sharp.
Anyways, enough.
Before we end, please tell us your list of the.
That's what I was going to say. Yes. Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David.
Yes.
We'd love to hear them.
We'd love to have some recommendations to look up for ourselves, and
We would.
and
It's a selfish thing.
more games potentially to play.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And until next time, guys.
Keep it nerdy.
Keep it nerdy.
Yeah.